Hello, I'm Governor Gary Herbert. On Memorial Day, Americans unite to pay tribute and solemnly honor the thousands of men and women who have marched, flew, and sailed in defense of the nation, never to return home. Among these brave warriors, there are nearly 3,000 Utahns who made the ultimate sacrifice. As we lower our flags to half-staff until noon, decorate memorials with flags and flowers, and visit the graves of the fallen, let us remember we can best honor these heroes by pledging to uphold the principles for which they laid down their lives. While the ceremonies and tributes to the fallen may look different due to the coronavirus, our enduring respect and gratitude for their sacrifice remains unchanged. In these uncertain times, it is our responsibility more than ever to honor those who have given their lives to ensure our freedoms, our liberties, and our way of life. I call upon Utahns to observe Memorial Day as a day of prayer for permanent peace. And I ask that we come together for a shared moment of silence at 3 p.m. to reflect on those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Jeanette and I join all Utahns in expressing our eternal gratitude for the hardships and sacrifices our armed forces members and their families made on behalf of our nation. Today and every day, we honor and salute you. Thank you. May God bless you for your service.
Hello. Today, though we may be physically distant from one another, we come together in spirit as a nation to honor the members of our military who have died in their service to the United States. Memory Grove, where we stand today, was set aside as a city park in 1902, but it wasn't until the 1920s that it was transformed into the beautiful space we have today, thanks to the women of the Salt Lake chapter of the Service Star Legion, who requested that the city designate the area as a memorial honoring America's soldiers. Throughout this park are monuments to some of the heroes who have given their lives for our country. The pagoda lists the names of Utahns who died in the First World War. The pond, named the Harbor of Beauty, is dedicated to sailors who have lost their lives in the service of their nation. The meditation chapel was built by Mr. and Mrs. Beeson to memorialize their son who died in World War II, and also commemorates the Utah servicemen whose bodies never came back from that war. There is the 145th Field Artillery Monument, which was dedicated to those service members in 1927. And there is the Korean War Memorial, which is near to my heart because my father served in that war. You cannot come to this special place without feeling in a very real way the bravery, the sacrifice, and the loss that it represents. I'm honored to be here today, and I'm so grateful for the men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. May we remember and honor their service today and every day.
For many Utahns, Memorial Day marks the beginning of summer. Normally, it's a day to spend precious time with friends and family, and maybe fire up the grill. As we all know, this Memorial Day is different than in years past. Instead of attending remembrance ceremonies, enjoying family barbecues, or watching fireworks, we're practicing safe social distancing and avoiding large gatherings. Without these celebrations, we're able to reflect on the true meaning of Memorial Day. We enjoy these privileges, these celebratory events, thanks to the sacrifices men and women in uniform have made in our behalf for generations. In some ways, we are lucky to have a year without these distractions and can instead turn our thoughts to remembering our military members who made the ultimate sacrifice and the cherished families they left behind. During this time of isolation and uncertainty, we must honor the legacy of those who did not return by caring for those who are still with us now. Take time, whether it's today or tomorrow, to reach out to your neighbor who is a veteran or the family of someone who made the ultimate sacrifice. Call them, write an email, or reach out online. Remind them that they are not alone. Although COVID-19 is keeping us physically apart, I encourage Utahns to come together this Memorial Day to express our reverent appreciation and eternal gratitude to the fallen and their families. Utah is proud to be home to over 150,000 veterans, and I thank you for thinking of veterans today and for honoring our fallen. Despite this pandemic, I'd also like to remind you that Utahns continue to serve across the nation and overseas. I also challenge you to keep our fighting men and women at the forefront of your minds today and every day. We are indebted to their love of God and country. They deserve our respect and our support. Thank you.
Memorial Day is a national day of awareness and solemn reverence for those military men and women who have given their lives in defense of our nation, our values, and our liberties. I, like my predecessor adjutant generals, physically carry a list of the 10 Utah National Guard soldiers who have given their lives since 9/11. I do so to remember the cost that we have paid, to honor that sacrifice, and to attempt to learn lessons from that sacrifice. To paraphrase President Abraham Lincoln during his Gettysburg Address, our words today will probably not be remembered, but the sacrifices that our fallen heroes have made can never be forgotten, and no statue nor memorial will ever be as hallowed as the blood they have offered in their last full measure of devotion. During this year of COVID-19 and with the multitude of challenges that we face, we can and should recognize the uniqueness of these sacrifices made through military service. In an era where less than 1% of our country serves in the military, where less than 10% of our military serves in combat arms or combat support jobs, where an even smaller percentage have seen the horrors of war and suffering, to again borrow from President Lincoln, we must honor these few noble souls who have laid so much on the altar of freedom. In addition to recognizing this paragon of patriotism and service, we must honor the sacrifice of so few for so many. We honor their sacrifice in a moment of kindness and sensitivity to the families of the fallen, through support to their wounded comrades who continue the mission, and through civic engagement that is essential to a vibrant and democratic republic. Furthermore, when we recognize and honor those who have given their lives for their country, we must learn from our collective experience, for war is a serious business. In the future, we must understand the implications and the cost borne by the few in war, that while our service members are willing to bleed, we must be sure that the goal is worthy of their blood, and to plan for the inevitable aftermath and secondary effects to those who have survived the desolation of war, both families and veterans. On this Memorial Day, I am strengthened by the sacrifices that have been made on my behalf. I recognize the blessings that I enjoy because of those sacrifices. I seek to honor those who have fallen and those who remain, and I implore the divine to learn when sacrifices are worthy of the cost. Thank you, and God bless America.